Hello, 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 SheEO District. Happy Wednesday. It is your girl. I'm the founder of the SheEO District and the owner of Visionology Event Management, welcoming you to our SheEO Live. This is Health Week in the SheEO District, and tonight we are talking protection. It may be an uncomfortable conversation, a conversation that we may be fearful or afraid to have, but it is a much needed conversation, especially in our community. And we have none other than the beautiful Miss Miki Riley joining us on tonight. And we're going to be bringing her up in just a little bit. So I want you to go ahead. You all know the routine. Go ahead and share this broadcast with your bestie, your business bestie, your aunt, your mom. Tag a woman. Just let's go ahead and be a friend and tag someone who needs to hear this information about protection. We're talking protection on tonight. So I hope everyone has had a fantabulous Wednesday. We've had an exciting day here in the SheEO District. We unveiled and announced our recipients of the SheEO Honors 2021. That will be honored within the gala with the SheEO conference coming up December 10th and 11th. And we are super excited about it. I just want to thank everyone for your engagement. It's been a very busy day with the SheEO District. So we just want to, again, if you didn't catch all the posts today about the honorees, go back and just kind of thumb through our timeline and take a look at all the wonderful, amazing ladies who are being honored for the year of 2021 for their excellence and their commitment to serve others in their respective industries. So we're going to go ahead and hop into this conversation. Again, we have the beautiful Miss Miki Riley. And we're going to go ahead and read her bio. So Miss Miki is a fabulous protection professional. She's a licensed insurance professional, inspiration entrepreneur, speaker, founder, and the author of the Fabulous 40 and Over Club. So you know what? She has an extensive background, but we want to go ahead and bring her up so she can verbally tell us about her background. I don't want to misstate or misstep anything, so we're just going to go ahead and bring Miss Miki Riley on up. Listen. She's some eye candy. So y'all don't want to sit and hear me read. Y'all want to look at this beautiful face here. I'm gonna show y'all just a second. Here we go. Let's do it.
Honey, thank you. Thank you.
Look at that. Look at that.
Thank
Natural
you.
beauty, okay?
Thank you. Natural Glam, Team Natural Glam, yes.
Absolutely. Good evening, Miss Miki. How
Good
are
evening.
you?
I am doing fabulous. Thank you. Thank you for having me tonight.
Awesome. So Miki, go ahead and tell us about yourself and tell us why you are here tonight. We're gonna hop and dive right on into it.
Well, I think it's appropriate that my first love and my business, Accessory Me, that's the banner for Accessory Me. It's what got me here and got me being the fabulous protection professional, actually. I started off in the beauty industry. I've been a makeup artist for over 23 years. I've sold accessories for over 20 years. I've helped about almost 30 women sell accessories for themselves. And it just morphed into bigger and greater things. About 7 years ago, I started having my Accessory Me breast cancer awareness event. Just a couple weeks ago was the 7th annual breast cancer awareness event. And selling accessories, helping women look beautiful for so many years, styling women. Number one, it got me when I moved to Atlanta to say, hey, what am I doing with my money? I need to know about my finances. And when I come here, am I pursuing makeup? Is makeup my career? I didn't want it to be. I decided to pursue finances and insurance. Now, ironically, I started having people and making people aware about cancer insurance 7 years ago. I got my temporary license briefly, helped people sign up because my mother was a victim of breast cancer. I took care of her until she passed away. And so with the Accessory Me events and talking about cancer and then becoming a professional insurance professional myself, and in between that time, me helping women look beautiful, I decided to write a book, The Fabulous 40 and Over Club. What does it truly mean to be fabulous? It's not all about the outside, of course. And I felt like no other than mature women 40 and over could explain that.
Mm-hmm.
And so since then, I mean, the book, it's a community and club and membership of women. But most importantly, my business as the fabulous protection professional is to protect women, and not just when they pass away, but while we're living. I know many breast cancer survivors. I know people who are in the fight right now. I myself, as well, is a victim of a suspected mini stroke a couple years ago. Many times when we're dealing with health issues, we live through them, but it
Mm-hmm.
sets us back. It sets us back financially,
Yeah.
amongst other things. So, how can we protect our assets, protect our savings? If we don't have a savings, not just go totally broke when we're dealing with something and we can't work. So, that's my passion. That's my purpose.
So I love the way you position, the phrase is protection, because we hear, insurance, we automatically think of what, death, morbid,
Mm-hmm.
that nature.
Mm-hmm.
But you offer services and products that help us while we are here. And a lot of times, unfortunately, and I will say, especially in our community, and I'm not, being negative, but in
Mm-hmm.
our community, things that are morbid, we tend to shy away from even the conversation, much less pursuing or getting some products or something. We just shy away from the conversation altogether
Unfortunately, yes.
until it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And now we're behind the eight ball. So can
Mm-hmm.
you talk about that mentality and helping our audience to overcome that conversation and making it something that's positive versus negative?
Yes. Well, first of all, many of us, including myself, always felt that insurance always had to do with death.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so depleted, and I was without words after the situation with my mother.
Mm-hmm.
And it shut me up. No one knew about my mom unless you knew me as a young person. And when I found out that cancer insurance exists, now a lot of people would think, well, if I got cancer, let me get this insurance. No, that's not how insurance works. You don't get car insurance when you get the accident, right?
Mm.
You get car insurance before and just in case there's an accident. But when I found out that cancer insurance exists, it could actually pay out. I know my mother was an entrepreneur. She's a big reason why I've been an entrepreneur since I was 16 years old. Okay. And I know the effects that her being sick had on her finances and how it
Mm.
affected the family. And so finding that out, then finding out I can get covered. I can be covered for heart attack. I can be covered for stroke. I can be covered for major illnesses. I can protect my income if I were disabled and unable to work. I mean, especially for those who are 40 and over. Have you ever had a small time period where you were down and you couldn't work? Where you were ill?
Yep.
Where you broke something,
Yep.
right? Well, in 2019, when I had a suspected mini stroke, I stopped paying on everything. When I tell you everything, a lot of us, we work, 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 work. A lot of us live check to check. Now, at the time, I mean, I'm just being honest. I spent the rest of my money buying my five bedroom, 4 bathroom home.
Mm-hmm.
And I always felt as long as I can work and I'm in good health, I'm fine. I did not expect that I would be down at that age, but it
Mm-hmm.
took me down for a while. So what happens then? What happens when you're down? What happens when you spend your savings? How much money do you spend when you have a grave illness
Mm.
outside of what health insurance
Right.
covers? Okay. So it's something we should think about. How can we protect ourselves while we're living? I do that. That's my biggest passion. But I help those. create wealth and start building extra money through the life insurances that they have as well. But we need to think about how can we touch the money. Yes, we want to help our loved ones. Yes, we want to pass on generational wealth, but there are things there are moves that we're making while we're living.
Right.
How can we and how can I be of assistance to you so that you can have access to these things?
Right. So, two things you touched on there. One, the unexpected illness at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially now. We'll just take now because now is where the time that we're living in.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll use 2020 as an example. It was no age stamp
No,
on death and illness. You know what I
no,
mean? Like
no, still
COVID
no.
really exposed our vulnerability to,
Yes,
and it exposed us to if we had underlying conditions, right?
yes,
Because of course, with COVID, it really attacked and hung on to whatever you already had going on, right? So that's why that term, that phrase, underlying condition, was something that you heard like daily, right? And it
yes,
really exposed even people who were walking around looking like they were healthy. COVID exposed that, right? And so you touched on something. We think because we run around, we look good, we
mhm,
young, like we
mhm.
living fancy free, we look good on social media, that we can't fall ill, and that it fall ill enough to where it will affect our lifestyle, right?
Yes,
Because we always think we got time.
yes,
You know what I
yes,
mean?
we do.
We think we got
This is how
time.
we think.
Yeah. Yeah.
I forgot the comedian's name. He played it Friday, I believe, and just passed like 2 months ago and
Yeah.
had no
Yeah. Yeah.
insurance.
Yeah.
So many of us, no insurance.
Yeah.
So many of us think we have great insurance. We have insurance that's going to end after some time. I was talking
Absolutely.
to a dear friend,
Mm-hmm.
cancer survivor.
Mm-hmm.
Think she has 250,000. She's got her kids covered, not realizing she has a term. She's already in her 50s. That term's in at 65, right? How hard is it for a cancer survivor
Wow.
to get insurance? Number one, I can insure everybody. I just want you to know, if you're a cancer survivor on here, contact me. I can insure you. However, definitely not for $250,000. And so, just the education of our
Mm-hmm.
people. We need to be educated. Yes, we want to save some money. No, do we want to spend 60, 75, 100, $150 on insurance? No. However, we spend 60, 75, and $150 on ourselves, correct? So many people will come into our communities and pray on us, and you might watch commercials that say you can get $2 million policy for $38 a month. I mean, realistically, I mean, is it going to really pay out? Right. That whole insurance or that insurance is going to build you some wealth you can use. It's going to cost more. And the
Mm-hmm.
older you are, the longer you wait, the more it's going to cost, but it's worth it. It's worth it. So I try to educate our people. Yes, you may have saw a State Farm representative. State Farm, I got my first insurance policy at 35. Wasn't thinking, I'm just out here moving and shaking.
Mm-hmm.
And and I'm disappointed now that I know more about it, but that's the first thing our people do when going to our neighborhoods. We may spend hundreds of dollars on some hair, honey. We get our makeup done.
Yeah.
These people buying $600 wigs. Okay.
And
You
will.
need to tell me you can't get $100 policy.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm trying to re-educate us. Like, come on now. What about your children?
Yeah.
When my mom passed away, I have three brothers. $5,000 we got. That money was gone in 2.5 seconds.
Yeah.
$5,000. And thank goodness she had that. So what decisions are we making? How well educated are we? Who is educating us
Mm.
on what's better, what's the better option for us, because the other communities, the other colors and races of people,
Talk about
they
it now.
are
They
they're
talk about it.
together.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're together. We're behind the eight ball, as you say.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what can I do as the fabulous protection professional to help?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So really quick, Miki, like you just said a whole lot, right? You said a whole lot right there. Talk about the difference in, because what stuck out in my mind is, your friend who's 65 and she has a term life policy, and she's probably going to live to 65. So talk about the different variations of, and I know we hear you have term life and whole life, or am I
Mhm.
saying that correctly? Like, talk about the difference and how you should, how you should determine what policy, what product
Okay.
that you need that best fits you and your family.
Okay. So there are several different policies that you can choose from. However, the most basic and well known and the most used are whole life and term life. At one point, I never sold term, especially if you did not have a whole life policy.
Mm-hmm.
I do sell term now if it's a return on premium, or if you want a cheaper term and you already have a whole life policy. And the reason why is because less than 1% of terms ever pay out. Google it.
Shut your mouth.
Google it. Less than 1% of terms ever pay out. And that's one of the reasons why insurance companies are so rich. One of the reasons why they are so rich, very smart. Yes, they're out there to protect us, but we need to know how to use them properly because they are out for themselves, which is why I switched from managing and working as a manager for a specific corporation and I became a broker.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you are working for a corporation, you have to advocate their policies, even if it's not necessarily the most cost effective for your client.
Mm-hmm.
But as a broker, your client is your first interest and
Right.
not the company. Okay. So a term policy is exactly what it's said. It's a term and it ends at a specific term.
Okay.
The average term ends at 65. However, some companies will span them out to 70 because we use those for mortgage protections.
Mm-hmm.
So, say if you are 40 years old and you have a 30-year mortgage and you want to protect the amount of your home, that company or that insurance company will give you 30 years worth of protection because you have a 30-year mortgage,
Right.
right? But the majority of terms end at 65. Now imagine spending, even if it's $38 a month, $38 a month for how many years? 10, 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's do some calculations. That's
Right.
thousands of dollars that you spend.
Mm-hmm.
You get nothing back. You get nothing back. And if you don't pass away, 65, it's gone. And so that's why I prefer at least to help you get the thousands back that you spent into if you're going to have a term.
Right.
A whole life policy builds cash value, right?
Mm-hmm.
Many of us insurance agents, especially those who don't have the proper mentor, they're going to use that as a selling point. Oh, but this builds cash value. This builds cash value. It wasn't until quite some time after I was an agent that I found out, and I still know agents who don't know that. Okay, if you use the cash value and you don't put the cash value that you use back, it's going to take it off the death benefit. It's going to take it off the death. So, say you built up, and then the cash value that it built is not exceeding. It's definitely more exceeding than a bank or anything like that. It's depending on the company. It's okay. Say you've been spending into the policy 15, 20 years and you have access to $10,000. You have a $50,000 policy, or $100,000 policy. If you use that $10,000 excuse me, and you don't put it back, now you have $90,000.
Mm-hmm.
Or say your policy was only 30,000. Now you only have 20,000.
Right.
So you have to be careful. Now there are other policies that you can get that can build cash value that you can actually use. And it doesn't take it off the death benefit. So you got to be careful. But at least that whole life pays out. It spans the whole of your life. Okay. If you live past 110 years or 100 and however many years, they're going to give you a check for the amount of that policy. Unlike that term won't get you anything. And I want people to be careful. I do want to say this. Many of us who are used to working on our jobs, I do group insurance as well. I set companies up with group insurance. Um, we're working on our jobs and we think we covered. So an agent will talk to you or someone such as myself, and you say, you know what? I got all that on the job. I got cancer insurance on the job. I got life insurance. I got it. And they gave you a great deal for life insurance. Life insurance on the job is term. Even if they span that term insurance out 99 years, do know that you're going to wind up retiring.
Right.
Most people do not retire from their jobs. The
Right.
average time span someone is on their job is 5 to 6 years. Okay. And then when you retire on that job, imagine your insurance being dropped 75% and you only have 25% of the
Right.
original policy.
Right.
So you thought you had 250,000 and you were spending, you were paying this every month. Now you retired and your 250,000 is now 50,000. I always encourage people to get your own policies and get your own coverage.
Yes.
Because if you're at a job at 40 and you leave the job at 46 and then you get your own coverage, you're going to spend 15 to 20% more than you would have spent when you were 40. If you are behind, if you think that you could make some slightly better decisions or could use some consultation, I'm going to make sure I give you my information, Kellye. Please
But
contact
do you
me.
mind if I go ahead and post? Because I was gonna go ahead and post on this. While we're talking, you're
Yeah,
saying some things that people need to hear, and I'm sure people want to contact you. So do you mind if I go ahead and just leave your
please.
name and number up for the
Yes,
duration of the? Okay, so we'll just
please. And my email.
leave your
Yes,
information
please.
up for the duration of the interview. And thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. It is all about the education. It's all about the
Mhm,
conversation, because once you hear it and you know it, like you're accountable for it. Like we can't
mhm,
say we don't know, right? Right.
mhm.
So
Yeah.
we have resources here. And thank you again, Miki, for coming on and sharing this. This is something that's vital, that you don't hear a lot about, that we should be talking more about, and not because it's so morbid. And we wonder why we can't get a leg up. Like we're supposed to be leave a legacy for our children so that they
Mhm,
do better than we do, right? And
mhm.
so
Yeah.
leaving them Jordans or buying them Jordan, no. I'm sure that they would appreciate more if you took that money that you buying a size a youth 10 in your Jordan for Jordans, and putting that towards a policy that's going to benefit them. Even while it could be while you're living, and it's
That's right. That's
when you're gone,
right.
because we never know when our time is going to be up here.
And
We
we
think we
get
have time. Was just having that conversation today. We think we have time, and we don't. We don't.
you know that so many people in my close circle have passed away. Someone like a sister to me died. She was 46. 46. This was 2 months ago. We had no idea she was going to pass away. And even just me dealing with my health issues. I mean, it's no secret. I'm very open and honest about the things that I deal with because we are all human.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to keep it real. I mean, you can see all the prettiest pictures in the world, but we all deal with something.
Yes.
Okay?
Yep.
And so just having some type of protection or just It's just so important because you are so right. There's nothing promised us.
Mm-mm.
My mortality sits in front of me every day. I mean, am I better than her? No. We have to be careful. We have to be cognizant. We have to be prepared,
Yeah,
and we need to be protected.
absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. And, you know, again, I was just having that. We were just having this mortality conversation, just because a close friend of mine lost a loved one on last night, and she was sharing that they were supposed to have gone to lunch to breakfast on Sunday, and both were
Mm,
tired and said, we'll wait till the week of Thanksgiving. Again, you're not
mm.
having that conversation thinking you're not going to be here, in a couple
No,
of days,
no, no.
and so again, loved one had wife and kids, so now those conversations are being had. So
Mm.
let's talk about the conversation that should be having, that families, parents should be having with their children or with the beneficiaries, because that's another thing that goes on in our community. We may have an insurance policy, but when it comes time for, we scrambling. We don't know where nothing
That's
is.
right. Hmm.
Like, you don't know what grandma has, or who she left something to. Like, talk about that conversation, the plan the conversation that should be had about the plan when we pass away, because we're gonna get out of here, okay? It's
Hmm.
just a
And some
matter of
of us, unfortunately, sooner than
exactly.
others. And that's something that I've been talking to people about, a service that I'm about to start offering with the Fabulous 40 and Over Club, and just to anyone. That's your living will and testament.
Mm-hmm.
How to create one, how to get it filed. Do you need some assistance? We can do that for you. Okay. Because many of us have children who are under 18 as well. And if you have a policy and you have a child and you want to leave all your money to your kids and they're under a certain age, what's going to happen?
Right.
The money's going to be sitting up there. What about probate?
Mm-hmm.
Who do you, where do you want the money to go? Who do you trust to have the money on behalf of your kids, or hold the money on behalf of your kids, that will use only a small amount of that money to take care of your children until they are able to do? What do you want done with the money? Okay. Where is the policy? This is why there is something.
Like, for real, like, where is
Yeah,
it?
where's the policy? At least who are you insured with? At least tell your family members what the insurance company is. That way they can call up there. And then on every insurance application, make sure you fill out that contingent beneficiary.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Kellye, if my husband and I flew to Jamaica and he is my beneficiary and the plane fell out the sky, what's going to happen to my money? And
Right.
he's just beneficiary. Should I not have, my son, or who I want to be the guardian of my son, to be the contingent
Mm-hmm.
beneficiary? So these things are very important because, and there's so much money sitting up at life insurance companies because people have no idea that their spouse was even insured there. There are so many children being mistaken care of. There are so many families at war. Unfortunately, you would think that having a death in the family would bring families closer
Mm-hmm.
together, but especially families. I'm about to get a little urban, who ain't used to having nothing. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Family members who aren't used to having anything, and especially if they think it's 5 cents on the table. Now we
Right.
got war.
Yeah.
You know, so it's no question what I want to happen to me, where I want my money to go, where I want to be buried. Have all these things in place so it keeps down on the chaos.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I've seen it happen. I've seen it
Mhm.
happen, multiple times, and within my own family.
Mhm.
Let it be a little piece of change involved. And I mean a little piece of change.
A little piece of change.
Okay.
It could be
You
25
got,
cents.
listen, I'm
The
talking about
ugly come
at
out too.
war, not a little argument, not a little battle. I'm talking about at war, but it's a
Mm-hmm.
little piece of change. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
So
and
true.
when the little piece of change gone, still ain't speaking. I'm talking about completely dismantle the family over
Mm-hmm.
this little piece of change.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And talk
Yeah.
about how hard it is getting through probate court to try to figure everything out.
Oh,
I,
that could take
I know
years.
what that looks like, but just talk about that. How I'll just let the probate court talk about how the difficulty and the danger in that too.
I found out about probate court when I went to real estate school when I was 18, went through the class, found out I couldn't get my license till I was 21, went back through the class at 21, took the class over again. Just the extensive studying that we had to do about probate then, because when you become an insurance agent, you don't do an extensive study about probate.
Mm-hmm.
But anything going through a court can
Mm-hmm.
literally take and tie up for years. The states, there's so much money sitting up for people because of death, because of losing houses, mostly because of death. Just sitting up there, just sitting around. There are people who specialize in helping people find money from their houses and their family and their dead loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
So you just don't, why? Why go through that? Why make your children wait years before they can get some assistance?
Right. Yeah.
Think about what your quality of life right now.
Mm-hmm.
Think about, okay, if I leave here, or if my spouse leaves here, what is that going to mean for my dependents? What quality of life are they going to have?
Right.
And then that's another thing. There are people who say, well, how much is $20,000? I'll get a $25,000 policy. They want a lavish funeral. Even if they don't want a lavish funeral, number one, a lavish funeral is 25,000.
That's the 25,000 right
Yeah,
there. You're
that's the
done.
money right
You're
there.
done.
Okay, say you want a wham bam, thank you, man, and like I do. Okay, you spent 5,000 or less. You got $20,000, and knowing you got 4 kids, what's gonna happen to your children? Think about how much it will take to secure your spouse. To secure your children. That's the type of policy thing. Now, if you pass the age and a $20,000 policy is over $150, and that happens, this is what happens to people in our community when an insurance agency or company comes in the community and say, "This is what's best for you. Get this term policy.
Mm-hmm.
It's only $25, and now you're 58, and you can't afford any more than a $40 policy." When you were 40, you could have got $100,000 $40 policy, 45, maybe $45 policy. And now you can only afford $100 and you can only get 10,000 or 20,000. If you have to do that, do it. But if you're at an age and stage, think about it right now. Don't say, well, I got insurance. I got a Gerber, like how many of us did. I
Yep.
got Gerber for my kids when they was born. Or I got this. Think about, do you need more? It's okay to have a few of them. You can have a few policies. Think about that.
And
Mhm.
I was speaking with my mom, and just not to put our business out there, but I'm just being transparent. We're here to help
Mhm.
somebody, okay?
Yeah.
Look, I was having a conversation with my mom. My mom moved with me 2015, and so I was having that conversation like, okay, insurance, where, who you got, what you got, where is it, right?
Hmm.
And so and my mom can't teach me, or my mom can't go beyond what she was taught, right?
Yes. Yes.
And not to even blast or shame my mom, but she was like,
Hmm.
I got X amount of money, that's enough. And this is kind of the old people thinking, right? I
Hmm.
got enough for y'all to bury me. And I'm like, well, what else? She's like, I got enough to bury me. Y'all take care of yourself. I'm like, oh, really? You know what I mean? Like that. and she said it as if like she did her part. You know what I mean? So
And she better than my father. She better
yes,
than
she
my
said,
father.
I have enough for y'all. I got enough. I got a policy for y'all to bury me.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
in her mind, like that was what she was responsible for as
Mm-hmm.
a parent. So education, like you said, it is essential. It ain't essential, it's vital.
It's vital, and
It's
that's
vital.
and some people can only afford now final expense, which we
Hmm.
do that. But if you don't wait till it has to become final, don't wait till you get sick.
Yeah.
Don't wait till you get on more than one blood pressure medication. Okay. Don't wait until something happens. You know, a lot of companies now are asking the COVID question. Now, don't wait till you catch COVID and you didn't have symptoms, but you went and took the test and then and allowed some doctor's office to diagnose you with COVID. Because now you gotta wait.
And that's on your record. Yeah.
Now that's on your record. That's another thing. We gotta look when we get things on our medical records. Number one, it's easy to get on there, hard to get off.
Mm.
Had a friend who had Graves' disease, and she's not even testing positive for it now because of some holistic health things she's done. And they're trying to deny her here and there just because something that was on her
Wow.
record. You see?
Wow.
So you got to be very careful what goes into your medical record.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure if you see any misinformation, you address it and get that off of there,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because that affects your insurance.
So how do you go about, Miki, getting a copy of your medical record to even see what's on there? Because that's an interesting conversation in and of itself. That's
Yeah,
something I
well,
never even thought about. Like, what is on my medical record?
yes, well, your last doctor, whoever your doctor has been, your doctor can get you, or whatever doctor's office you go to,
Mm-hmm.
you can get your medical records from there. Normally, if you start seeing a primary care practitioner, they normally ask to have the medical records from whoever you were seeing
Mm-hmm.
previously to them. So it's just a whole train.
Yeah.
And then if you apply for insurance and you get denied, whatever company that they use to pull your MIB, Medical Information Bureau report, or your RX, that's your prescription report, they will tell you why they denied you based on this with this company. You can use the whatever company that they use to extract things from your medical report if it's substantiated by your doctor.
Okay.
Yes.
That's good information. That's good.
Hmm.
That's real
Hmm.
good. That's good. So really quick, and something that I'm personally going to be taking advantage of from Miss Miki, talk about the cancer policy. I know we just came out of October, which was breast cancer awareness, and
Hmm.
Miki had a wonderful, amazing event at the Jaguar dealership, in South Atlanta, which was awesome. And just talk about the cancer policies that you offer, because one of the things that stuck out to me was some of the ladies who had overcome or still going through the fight with cancer spoke about how they were either had the policy they let it go and then found out about the diagnosis. So just talk about that, and some of the different policies that you offer that really is not going to put a dent in your purse string, especially with what you, like you said, what we spend monthly, but will make a world of difference should that happen to you.
Well, first of all, I would like to say that I personally have a $30,000 cancer policy. I felt $30,000 would take care of my bare minimum for at least 18 months to 2 years if I were to get sick. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to be worried about paying my mortgage or whatever. I want to be stress free. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you diagnose with cancer, you can get anywhere from ten to $100,000 worth of coverage. One of the ladies at the event, yes, she let her policy go 3 months before she was diagnosed with cancer. And many times we'll have a policy. This is supplemental insurance. And a lot of people will allow supplemental insurance to lapse because They said, hey, it's been, I ain't went to the hospital in 5 years. So, you know, uh, I shouldn't have to pay. I've been paying $38 every month, for 5 years, and I haven't used it.
Mm.
But many times we get caught off guard and we regret. Prime example, I had a client who was in the hospital almost a month with COVID complications. I made sure he was covered with disability, and I also made sure that he had a hospital indemnity policy that if he was admitted into the hospital, he would get paid. And I made sure that every night he was in the hospital, he would have got paid. Why he let the policy go before he was
Oh,
admitted into the
wow.
hospital? And so hindsight is 2020,
Yeah.
which leads me to say, and I'm very proud to announce, but this will be coming in January. And that's why I'm the fabulous protection professional. And that's why I am founder of the Fabulous 40 and Over Club, because things like cancer, things like heart attack, things like stroke happen to us in our community, and more so in our community than others,
Mm-hmm.
especially heart disease. And so if you become a part of the Fabulous 40 and Over Club, you'll get those protections. You'll get a $10,000 guaranteed issue critical illness, including cancer policy. That means if you were diagnosed with cancer, heart attack, stroke, you'll get a $10,000 payout. Not only that, it comes with $40,000 worth of accidental death and dismemberment. If something happens to you by accident, and look, y'all know about these car accidents and all types of stuff out here. Okay, your family gets $40,000. If you still live and something happens to some of your limbs, or you get paid out. I thought that was very important, and being and having events over the last 7 years trying to make people aware of this coverage, I'm very proud to say that I will be able to offer this to those who become part of the Fabulous 40 Nova Club. Now, the unique thing about this, when I say guaranteed issue, now I say I had a suspected mini stroke. I know what I had because I know what went on with my body.
Mm-hmm.
A TIA can resolve itself within a 24 hours, 48 hours. And so if you are tested and they don't find those things that they're looking for, then they say, well, okay, we'll rule that out. Maybe it was a
Mm-hmm.
migraine. Migraines is not causing me to go numb, or, but if it's a situation that you've had something in the past, within the past 5 or 10 years, even cancer, and you're in remission, when I say guaranteed issue, that means it's a guarantee for you.
Wow.
Technically, that doesn't happen. If I've had a stroke, if I'm a cancer survivor, I got to wait 10 years before I'm even eligible to get cancer insurance. I've got to wait 5 years before I'm even eligible to get stroke coverage. So that guaranteed issue is a special thing.
Yeah.
Now, $10,000 is not a lot of money, but it does something.
Listen,
Look, if I
look,
had $10,000,
let you need it. Look, let you need 10,000. That's a lot of money when you need it.
yes,
Okay.
yes. If I had that $10,000 when I got sick, honey, I would have look. I wouldn't have went behind on my stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm just excited about it because I'll be able to help quite a few people that weren't able to be helped before.
Absolutely. We have a
Mhm.
question in the comments. It said, "Can you do a policy for me, even though I live in Katy, Texas?"
Yes, I can. I do have my Texas license. I would love to help you.
Awesome. I don't know. I can't see who posted that, but if you can contact Miss Miki Riley, and I'm sure once we get off of here, Miki,
Please.
you'll be able to go in the
Mhm.
into the comments and see exactly who posted that comment. I'm just not able to
Yeah.
see it on the live stream, but definitely whomever asked that question, if you could take Miss Miki's number down and give her a call. Otherwise, I'm sure she'll reach out to you right after this.
Yes.
Oh, it's Reverend Pat. Reverend Pat, we love Miss Reverend Pat.
Thank you, Reverend
Yes.
Pat. I would be most gracious, and I would love to help you. I'm excited to help educate people Also, I help people in the insurance career make, learn to make six figures. I'll be coming out with a ebook in January that just gives you some education on some basic policies that can help you while you're living. Things that you should choose from. Choose this possibly and not that,
Hmm.
education,
Absolutely.
brief education, and not
Yes.
not real long, but it's some must knows about the insurance and the protection industry.
Yes. And I would definitely encourage everyone, if you're listening to this broadcast, just go do a double check it and actually be educated on what you actually have. I'm sure it's
Mhm,
years. If you have a policy, you just pay on it. You don't know if it's term or whole life. Like, get
mhm.
educated on what you have and make decisions. Let's take a hold and get proactive about this.
Yes,
We've been behind the eight ball with this insurance game for a long time. And so
yes,
again, once we are educated on or we hear some information about it, now we are accountable, for what goes on in our household as far as protection is concerned. So, Miss Miki, let them know outside of your phone number, like what's a good way for another way for our audience to reach you. I guess your social media platforms, things of that nature.
well, please email me at Miki, Miki, at MikiRiley.com. And my websites are under construction. I am at fab40plus.com.
Okay.
You can find me there. Also at Miki Riley, MikiRiley Presents on Instagram. And you can follow the Fabulous 40 and Over Club on Instagram and Facebook at the Fabulous 40 and Over Club. But you can reach out directly to me with that number that Kellye shared and that email.
We're gonna just put that back up, that number back here, so you all can take that down. Again, if you have any questions, go ahead and post in the comments. I'm sure Miss Miki will kind of do a comb through to make sure she has answered everyone's questions. But again, thank you, Miki, for joining us. This has been
Thank
a
you.
super
Thanks for
uh,
having me, Kellye.
and we're gonna have you back more. Like, we're gonna make it a point to make sure that we are educating y'all. We're gonna help you make the money, but you got to know what to do with the money. Like, we got to be educated on
Please,
what to do with the money. We're
please.
not buying nothing wrong with buying your purse and handbags, and make sure you got all your business in order, right?
Yes,
Let's take care of
yes.
business first with the money that all this money that we're gonna make, and make sure
Hmm.
that our families are protected. So again, we're gonna have Miss Miki back on here sooner than later. Maybe some follow up. Maybe she can kind of start to dial down and educate us on, again, she educated us on, our difference between life and term. So maybe we can have her back on just from some little, what do you call it? The follow up. Uh,
Yep, follow up in some tidbits when we got annuities, we
Absolutely.
got IULs, we got all types of stuff that people need to know
Absolutely.
about.
So it's not, we can't overload you on enough information,
Hmm.
because again, it's no reason why we shouldn't be educated. We're in an age, a digital age, and if we got these $1,000 phones, we need to be making it make sure it works for us, right? Not just scrolling,
Yeah.
but getting some information. So again, thank you, Miki, for your service.
Thank
I feel like you're
you.
in a service industry and you are serving
Yes,
the community. We've been misinformed regarding insurance for a long time, because I can
yes.
remember our insurance man coming to our house on Saturdays, and Mama having the money in that little envelope faithfully, and probably couldn't tell you what she had, nothing. So it wasn't any. I remember when she got the policy. It wasn't even a long, like, drawn out conversation. It was just something. This is what you need. No questions, no
Hmm.
nothing. And so she paid that man for years, and
Hmm.
never saw a return on it, or anything like that. So it is about the education. So we're going to make it our point to make sure we have Miss Miki back on here again sooner than later. Thank you all for joining us. We're here with Health Week. And we'll be back on tomorrow with Miss Jasmine Millhouse closing out her Entrepreneur Month for the month of November. But if we don't have any more questions, I'm just going to take a really quick peek here. I don't see any more questions. But again, thank you all so much for tuning in. Again, congratulations to all of our honorees for our SheEO honors. Definitely go check out our website for conference week at sheeoconference.com, and go ahead and reserve your either your vendor table for our Marketplace Expo or for our 5P Principles to Live Your Life Masterclass, as well as our gala that evening. So thank you all for joining us, and we will see you all back here on tomorrow.